Hello and welcome back sa aking channel at ipagpatuloy natin yung pag-solve natin ng mga vertical motion which is part of our kinematics discussion. And previously, we have a great example about the vertical motion at ginawa nating example yung mga Attack on Titan characters. And this is the next variation of the vertical motion computation. So, ngayon, ang scenario is Aaron was able to fill the bucket with concrete mix and will be dropping the bucket so that it will land to the hands of Armin. So the question is, find the time it takes if the estimated height of the release point of Aaron to the hands of Armin is 50 meters. So, medyo unrealistic ulit yung mga numbers natin dito kasi nga naka-colossal form si Armin at si Eren ay naka-attack titan form. So, sulat lang natin muna yung given. Okay? Based on our analysis, ano nga ba yung mga given natin? First given, initial velocity is equal to, ano nga ba yun? Kasi nga, di ba, galing kay Eren, tapos ilalaglag lang niya. Wala naman siyang initial velocity. Therefore, your initial velocity here is 0 meters per second. Okay? You also have your final velocity. Ano nga ba yung magiging final velocity nung bucket? Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung bucket, hindi si Eren at si Armin. So, initial velocity ng bucket is 0 meters per second kasi manggagaling sa kamay ni Eren at ilalaglag lang. At masasalo naman ngayon ni Armin. So, let's just say na nasalo ni Armin. So, ibig sabihin, by the time na tumama siya sa kamay ni Armin, magkakaroon or mawawalan ng movement din or motion yung bucket. So, that is also 0 meters per second. 'Di ba? Mga analysis lang na napaka-importante kahit hindi sinasabi sa problem, but we have the initial perspective of this specific rules, okay? And we have yung height. Diba? Height is 50 meters. Okay, medyo mataas. Ano nga bang height ni Armin pag naka-colossal form? Armin is 60 meters in height. Kaya medyo mataas siya. Okay, so ano nga ba yung equation na gagamitin natin? Diba? Nung nakaraan, kinukuha lang natin yung derivation ng mga equations from the kinematic formulas. Kaya madali lang natin naiintindihan. Ano nga ba yung magiging equation? Isipin muna natin, merong initial velocity, meron tayong final velocity, at meron tayong height. So, ano nga ba yung pwede nating magamit? Pwede nating magamit siguro yung first or yung third, 'di ba? Kasi meron yung distances or meron yung height. Pero ang pinapahanap kasi sa atin dito is find the time. So yung third equation natin, wala naman time, 'di ba? Pero yung first equation natin ay merong time. So maybe we can use the first equation. First equation for vertical motion is equal to h, or h is equal to the initial velocity multiplied by the time, 'di ba? Plus or minus 1/2 gt squared. Okay? So, the initial velocity, again, wala siyang initial velocity. So, zeroed out na to. So, matitira, meron tayong height, which is given. We have yung gravitational constant, which is given. At ang matitira na lang, yung time. So, if we will use our transposition, so your time would be, diba? Pupunta lang to sa, yung 2 mapupunta sa taas, so magiging multiplied 2h, diba? And then, yung gravity magiging mapupunta sa denominator. And then, since naka-square yung time mo, i-square root natin. So, ito na yung magiging equation natin. Napakadali, diba? So, let's solve. Again, ang sinosolve natin dito is the time it takes, since we have a height of 50 meters, the time it takes na malalaglag yung bucket galing kay Eren papunta sa kamay ni Armin. So, the solution would be by giving or by applying the given. So, we have 2 multiplied by the height, which is 50 meters. And then, we have 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay? So, yung meters magka-cancel out at matitira dito is second squared at mapupunta sa taas. And kapag in-square root natin, mawawala yung squared. And the time, if we will be solving, let's first solve what's inside the square root. So that is 2 times 50, that's basically 100, 9.8 meters per second squared. The answer is 10.20, and that is in seconds squared. So dito na lang natin isulat yung final answer natin. So let's get the square root of the answer, and ang kakalabasan ay 3.19, and this is in seconds. So, napakadali, di ba? Basta alam lang natin kung paano i-derive yung mga equation at kung ano yung mga rules based on the given. Okay? So, hanapin pa natin yung isa pang scenario or variation ng problem. Okay, yun kanina is si Eren ay naglaglag ng bucket with concrete mix sa kamay ni Armin. Now, ito naman ang mangyayari. Paano kung, kunyari, di ba, binato ni Armin yung concrete mix or yung bucket na, yung empty bucket. Okay? Di ba? Parang yung sa first scenario natin. Binato ni Armin yung empty bucket kay Eren. At nasalo ni Eren. Okay? This time, what if hindi nasalo ni Eren yung bucket? Ang mangyayari, di ba, pag toss ni Armin ng empty bucket, syempre, dadating siya sa point ng or yung maximum height, ma-achieve niya yon. At syempre, hindi masasalo ni Eren, babalik yung bucket kay Armin. So, yun yung scenario natin. Armin tossed the empty bucket with an initial velocity of 25 meters per second. But Eren failed to catch it. Thus, the bucket goes back to the hands of Armin. So if this is the case, calculate the time it takes for the bucket in going to the maximum height and also fall back to the hands of Armin where it was projected. Okay, ano nga ba yung mga given? Notable given. Una, it has the initial velocity of 25 meters per second. Diba? Napaka basic ng ano na yon, ng given na yon. And what was required, diba? Required is the time. Actually, the total time. Kasi ang mangyayari dito is hindi lang natin dinidescribe yung time ng papunta sa maximum height. Ang dinidescribe natin dito is yung until sa bumagsak sa kamay ni Armin yung bucket. Okay? And basically, ito yung rule or principle that the time it takes for the bucket from its release point hanggang sa makabalik kay Armin, it's just twice. Okay? Twice the time na na-reach niya yung maximum height. So earlier, ano nga ba yung ano natin? Yung equation natin or alin yung ginamit nating equation? And that's actually, ito yon. So, time is equal to VO divided by the gravity. Okay? Di ba ito yon yung ginamit natin kaninang equation? And that's the second equation. So, balikan natin yung second equation. VF minus VO is equal to, ito lang, sinusulat ko lang yung pinanggalingan niya. So that is plus or minus GT. Okay? Ito yung ginamit natin. And as we know, ano nga ba yung initial velocity niya? Meron siyang initial velocity, di ba? Which is, ito yon, 25 meters per second. Ano yung magiging final velocity niya? Pagka, di ba, ang final velocity niya is 0 pa rin kasi babagsak nga sa kamay niya. This is zeroed out. Okay? And ang matitira ito, negative VO is equal to plus or minus GT. And as we know, di ba, papataas, so magkakaroon siya ng negative sign. At doon mangyayari na ang matitira na lang is ito, si time. And then as we discussed earlier, it's just the twice the time. So magmumultiply lang tayo dito ng 2. Okay? So sulat natin yung solution natin dito. Solution time, total time, medyo malaking T na lang ilagay ko. You have twice your initial velocity divided by your gravitational constant. Madali na lang, di ba? It's just twice yung time na nagamit para ibato yung bakit papataas. Kasi kung ano yung time na yon hanggang ma-reach yung maximum height, yun din yung time yung time it takes for the bucket to go down. Okay? Madaling principle lang na aalalahanin natin, and that is 25 meters per second divided by, ano ba yung gravity? That's 9.8 meters per second squared. So, basically, the time it takes is, ito yung parang naging complete cycle. 2 multiplied by 25, that's basically 50. And you have 9.8 meters per second squared. And the answer is 5.10. So, ito yung magiging output natin. Seconds. Okay? So, that's it for the third the second variation of vertical motion. So, what if hindi nasalo ni Eren at bumalik yung bucket sa kamay ni Armin? So, we will be discussing another variation of the scenario at abangan natin sa susunod na video ko. Thank you!